Okay, recording in progress it is. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Ask Kennon Anything Money Talks webinar. And today it's going to be a special one. Why? Because it is the last Wednesday of November. We are only remaining one more month before we tell 2025 Kwaheri. And how exciting is it? Remember all the financial goals and plans that you had? You remember the financial declarations you made on the mountain or down the valley? Ulikuwa umesema, my father Lord, this year I want to earn 1 million Kenya shillings, or I want to be able to be financially disciplined. Just even as we just before we head to the questions, where are you? Because this is the perfect time for you to take account. Because next time at a time like this, today being the 26th of November, next month at a time like this utakuwa umeshiba, hata ujui toothpick iko wapi. But if you want to take an accountability session, our financial coach normally tells us take it well early in advance, even as you're enjoying your Christmas or even as you're looking towards the turn of the year. You can be able to have an amazing time. So, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Paul Edward Mwangi. I am a financial trainer at Mwalimu Biashara. I am the one who normally makes the most noise in your special Kibeti community, and I am super excited for you to join in. So allow me to welcome people individually. So as I had mentioned, Karibu Sana Solo, welcome Leah, welcome Jace Agribusiness, welcome HK, welcome Abus iPad Pro M4. We are sorry, we apologize. And then last but not least, definitely there's some people who will be joining us. We have our financial coach, Kennon Mbae, who is together with us. So this is going to be an amazing session. You're going to be asking our questions. So I'll kindly ask you, if you have your questions ready, kindly ensure that you put them in the chat section. We will be looking at them. But before we head to the questions, we normally like to do a brief introduction of who Mwalimu Biashara is and ideally what we do and why you should care for all the same. So at Mwalimu Biashara, we are here to help you to do three things. We're here to help you to make money, grow money, and protect your money. That is our core mandate at Mwalimu Biashara. And we do that in two different perspectives. We either do it on a corporate perspective, and then we do it on a personal financial perspective. And that is the reason as to why we were able to open the Kibeti community, so that it can be a safe space for you to communicate, to share your money stories, and most importantly, to get the right financial literature or to get the right financial knowledge for you to take a step forward. So allow me to just quickly show you the personal financial journey and why it matters, and ideally why you should be able to look at it from a different perspective. So from the different people that we've been able to have interaction with, and this is mostly on a personal financial journey, we've been able to notice a certain pattern. And this pattern has been able to take us through different stages of life. And I'm going to be able to take you from all the stage number 1 to stage number 10, ideally just showing you the personal financial journey and why it matters to each and every one of us. So within the next 2.5 minutes, I'll be out of your way, but allow me to quickly brush through this personal financial journey. We start with our core mandate, which is number 1, which is your current financial health. Before we even do any interactions, before you go to the supermarket or before you go to the shop, you normally have to check your balance, whether it be a M-Pesa or card or whatever thing. You have to go and check your balance and know, I'm going to the supermarket to buy 1, 2, 3 things. Do I have the financial capability, or do I have the financial strength to buy it? And it happens in the same way when you look at your personal financial journey. You look at your current financial health. Where is it at? Is it on the red zone, which means it's on a dangerous place, or is it on the green zone? Then you take it to the stage number 2, which is your relationship with money. Ladies and gentlemen, even as you're looking towards closing the year, we go to our different up countries and go and make merry with our loved ones and our family members. That relationship matters, and that's why we normally look forward towards this December Christmas period. And it happens to be the same thing with your money. What is the last time you sat with your money and decided, this is my money, I want it to go this way? Or rather, my money is not in a good space, how do I want to change that story? And then you go to stage number 3, which is forecasting your plans. Ladies and gentlemen, the 6 or the 7 of us who are here in this particular webinar, each and every person is different, and that means our financial goals are different. For some of us, we want different careers. For some of us, we want to go to a different place to live. For some of us, we want to upgrade that car and you want to feel, that special feeling when you go to work or when you're going inside the estate. So each and every person is different and their plans, our plans are different. How can he be able to help you to get there within the shortest and the safest route possible? Then you look at stage number 4, which is debt. We have good debt, bad debt, and ugly debt, and I'm quite sure our financial coach is going to be touching into this. For some of us, this has been the year of debt. Left, right, and center. You borrow from Lucy so that you can pay the debt you have for James. So what does that mean for your finances, and how can we be able to help you manage that in this particular session and in other subsequent sessions that you're going to be having? Then you come here to stage number 5. We look at something called savings. And ladies and gentlemen, this is an important part. Why? Because when you look at this particular stage, it means that you cannot be able to start investments without starting on savings. And savings is quite a crucial part. And you're going to be looking at several things, even some of the questions that we asked. And I'm quite sure our financial coach will be looking at this aspect called savings. Then you look at something called investments. And this is where wealth begins. And this is where you're able to start creating your wealth. We know of so many people who've been able to start investing at very young ages. And even where you are right now, maybe 2025 has been the year where you spent all your money paying your debts and start saving kidogo. Don't worry. Maybe today will be the webinar where you're going to be getting financial nuggets that you're going to start your investments journey. And we cannot talk about investments without looking at the aspect of risk and returns. And this is quite important. Why? Because there is no investment that does not have risk and that does not have returns. Most of the financial people out here, they like to tell us about the returns, but they forget to tell us on that other side of the coin, there's something called risk. And I'm quite sure we're going to be looking at it, if not today, in our other subsequent forums. Then we look at staircase number 8, which is normally our retirement and building investment portfolio. At Mwalimu Biashara, we believe that when you're living, make sure you create a buffer so that whatever emergency you come across, or even in your latter years, when you're enjoying your money, you're old, you're gray, you're wrinkled, you are smiling at that beach because you know at the end of the month there is some money coming into your account and your finances will be sorted. Then you look at staircase number 9, your environment and your finances. Believe it or not, whether we like it or not, we're seeing how the political landscape is shaping up. We are going to be looking at several things about investments, about corporate bonds, which you're going to even to be looking at when you're having our event on Saturday, which you're going to be talking about towards the end. And then, ladies and gentlemen, we put it all together at stage number 10, where we say we put it all together, where we are able to give you the right financial behaviors that can be able to take you from level 1 to phase 2 to phase 3 to phase 3. So when we look at all this is the personal financial journey, I normally like to take the ball back to each and every one of us and ask us, between stage number 1, which is your current financial health, to stage number 10, learning the right financial habits, in which stage do you think is the most important for you right now? Go to the chat section and kindly tell me, you know what, Edward, I think number 3, number 6, and number 7, hapo ndio ninaona nimekwama. Kindly go to the chat section and write with the number that you feel is the most pressing one for you. We're going to be looking at some of the responses. I'm here looking at the chat, and then you're going to be looking at even some of the responses that you're going to be sharing so that you can be able to move in the next step forward. So without further ado, even as you're putting in the responses, which I'm going to be looking at the chat section, allow me to welcome our financial coach who is going to be tackling our questions. And I'll just say it once again, for those who've joined us, Karibu Sana. I see Tina has joined us, Karibu Sana, and other members who are going to be joining us even as we proceed. If you have any personal financial question, be it be your business, be it be your finances, this is the opportunity. The next 45 minutes are going to be life-changing. Why? Because we want you to get the right financial knowledge. So even as you're putting your questions, kindly respond to this question that I asked. Between stage number 1 to stage number 10, which one do you feel at this moment in time you want is the one that is pressing you? It's the thorn in your wallet, or it is the thorn in your flesh? I'll be checking the chat section even as I welcome our financial coach. Kennon, if you can be able to hear me, kindly karibu sana.
All right, loud and clear, Edward. Great to be here today. Asanteni sana for joining this webinar. I can see the answers are coming in the chat. Which of these stages speaks to you? Abbas, iPad is telling us number 6 and number 8. That is, I need to understand investments and please help me with this thing called retirement and building my portfolio. That is number 6 and number 8. Asante sana bwana Abbas. Believe that, well, I can't get the gender, but Abbas iPad. Solo is telling us number 1, number 6, number 8, and number 4. Number 1 being, how do I figure out my current financial health? Number 6 being investments, just like Abbas right there. Number 8, again, just like Abbas, help me plan my retirement. I need to know how to build my investment portfolio. Number 4, please help me understand this thing called debt. Asante sana Solo right there. I'm looking out for any other feedback that comes. We'll be looking out for it in the chat section. And these answers help us keep curating our offering to you. When we call for webinars or when you're talking to different people, we want to navigate and go to what actually is the touch point, okay? Personal finance in its nature is very wide. That's why Leah is telling us number 2, my relationship with money. I need to understand my relationship with money. Number 4 from Jay's agribusiness, debt management, hii kitu ya madeni ni shida. I need to understand how to do that. And remember, there's a part debt, bad debt, and ugly debt. So yes, you are on the right track. Asanteni sana for that. We will take into consideration in our future offerings. And even in this webinar, if I get a chance, I will navigate a little bit towards the interest that I have seen there. Great. These are what we've been waiting for. We want to go to the questions that have come up. Now, these questions, we got them in early in the day. But should you have any other question of whatever nature, we tell you, please put it in the chat section. We want to be able to go through this one together. We may not get all the answers. We may not be having all the answers at the moment. But the thing is, the fact that you express yourself, the fact that you say what your pain point is, helps you. Most of the time, we've been able to give people clarity. This is your day, like Edward said. By the time we are done at 9 o'clock, we should be done with this. Great. Question number 1 came from Austin. Austin says, hi, Kennon. December is around the corner. Should I travel up country with my entire family? That is myself, wife, and 3 kids for the festivities? Or I just stay back and save for school fees and the dreaded in January? With the current economy, how can I make a wise financial decision without feeling that I'm denying my family joy? This is a very, very good question. So straight to Austin's question, traveling up country is very personal. It's a personal thing. See what Leah was talking about, your relationship with money. The relationship you have with your money is shaped by your upbringing, by your history, by your parents, by your history. And now this traveling up country also has that element. So there's a bit of it that it's not a, it's about that emotion that goes with traveling up country. I love it myself. So as I answer this question, we are cognizant of the fact that it is not just about the money. There are people who spend just because they want to be up country. That's the time you connect. That's the time you remember your childhood days. So yes, there is that. But connected to that, my response to Austin is don't overspend. Do not overspend more than you've budgeted for. Remember, the upcountry story comes once a year. December comes once a year. And you rightfully put it very well, Austin. School fees in January is coming, or is it in January? There is something coming up in January. So a couple of tips. Most times we get paid before Christmas. For those who are employed, you get your salary before Christmas. If you're blessed or lucky to have a bonus, it also comes sometime before Christmas. So you are celebrating. Please go to your account and pay all the expenses you need to pay on the spot. Don't hesitate paying for January rent. Please, please, please. go pay for those things on the spot. Most of the time, the money that is left in your pocket is what you use. So please go spend the way you're supposed to spend like any other month. If you have a loan repayment, honor that. If you have shopping you need to do as much as possible, do it in advance. That is the first tip. Now, whatever is left over, do you know that money is never enough? I love that you want to give your family joy, and that's very close. That's very nice. But it's best to do that within what you can actually afford. I know we need money to do many things, but money does not necessarily buy everything. You can decide to have a very modest and well-priced trip upcountry, and your family will still enjoy. So those are the two tips. Spend the money the way you're supposed to spend it, even before festivities come. If you need to travel, please plan for it, and you can still have joy for your family without having to break the bank. All right. I'm hoping, Austin, that covers your question. And by the way, the people in the audience, if you feel you have any question again, my eye is sharply on the chat section. I'll be answering this question with the mind that a few more questions might come my way. Right. Good. Edward is actually very busy putting for us a summary in the chat, and that's excellent. Question number 2. This came from Walter. Walter is saying, I currently earn 35,000 shillings and I'm approaching 30. My dream is to own a German machine. Call it a Mercedes. It's worth approximately 3 to 4 million shillings. And I need to do that by 2030. After that, I then intend to start a family. Very good. Nice plan. It has figures. You have the timelines. You have put it out there. The question is, what's the realistic way to save, to invest, and still enjoy life? Or am I setting myself up for disappointment? This is nice, Walter. I like that you're very aware about what you want to do. I'll answer this question in 2 ways. Again, the financial part and the non-financial part. Non-financial is the behavior part. Let me talk about this German machine. Ladies and gentlemen, there is nothing wrong with enjoying life. There is nothing wrong with you getting what you want in life. Go for it. So that's what I pick from Walter. He's very specific about it doesn't want just any car. And sometimes when we take us through personal financial management, that's how we start our conversation. What is precious to you? What do you want to do? What goal do you want to set for yourself? So don't limit yourself. Figures, when you go into the figures, you'll get to see Mr. Walter needs to earn a lot more than 35,000 shillings if this dream is to come true. But either way, by your picture of success. I'm going to open some tools that we use for our training. This is just to illustrate so that we can understand and give Walter an answer that is based on figures. Because by the time you get to a realistic way to save, to invest, and still enjoy life, it works with the numbers. Let me take you there. This is one of the tools we use. It's called the treasure chest. We use it in many, many ways in our training. So I'm going to pick a specific part to help Walter. All right. Let me just quickly go there. We call it the time value of money. Anytime you're having a financial goal, guess what? You can always work backwards. You can always see, what do I need to start doing today in order to reach my goal? Let's work with Walter. I'll go to, of course, these are full training, but for now, I'll jump to what is relevant. What Walter should figure out is how much should he start saving today so that by the time he gets to 2030, he can afford his German machine. Now, he has told us the car that he wants to buy is between 3 million and 4 million. That is called the future value. That is to say, that is the amount Walter will pay in 2030. He's not paying it today. That is for the future. So let's even use 3.5 million so that we are somewhere in the middle of Walter's estimate. Time in years, Walter wants to do this in 2030. Now we're in 2025. So yes, 2026, 27, 28, 29, and 30. So Walter has 5 years to do that. I want to explain to you something called discounting. And I want to keep it very simple. The value of a shilling today will be different from the value of a shilling when Walter gets to buy his German machine. This tool here takes that into account. So by the time I say the interest rate is 8%, I like using 8% because it's very fair. The figures I'm about to show Walter are not just figures that are talking about today. The tool into account what will be the cost of life at that point. Anyway, so let's calculate what we call the present value. What does Walter need to do today? All right, let's go to the results. They're out here. Aha, here we are. Sorry, I should have put 5 years here. I did not put 5 years. Let's see. So that's why I went to infinity. Okay, so I had to put 5 years there. Excellent. These are the results. For Walter to drive that Mercedes in 2030, he needs to start putting aside 49,716 shillings per month. That is Walter's reality. Now, of course, you could agree, disagree with the figure, but there's something else that's happening here. If Walter is able to take this 49,000 or whatever figure, where is he keeping it until 2030? Is he putting it in a bank? Is he putting it under the mattress? Is he putting it? Where is Walter putting this money? Please, anytime you have an opportunity to put aside money, put that money in a money market fund. I ran to a money market fund because it is the simplest way for me to explain to you how to begin an investment journey. Now, there are so many other kinds of investments, but investments again is, and I saw the response. People are very interested in number 6, investments. It is such a wide topic. So the reason I'm jumping to the money market is the simplest way I can tell you to start your investment journey. Now, watch with me what is happening in Walter's life. If Walter is to save 49,716 for 5 years, he will actually start gaining if he puts that money in a money market fund that's earning him 8%. What that means, as Walter is saving for his vehicle, he's going to gain 500,000 by putting his money in a money market fund every month, waiting for the decision to buy the German machine. If Walter takes the same amount of money and decides to put it somewhere that's not earning him money, he will lose what we call compounding. This question has very many angles to it. The reason I brought us to these numbers is these tools are available for you. In fact, if you download our app called Kibeti, this is in the next few updates, we will make this tool available to every Kibeti user. You don't have to, you can actually go in there and figure out how can I start saving. It is wonderful. We have very great plans for you. Back to Walter. So Walter is earning 35,000 shillings. Definitely, Walter, I have bad news for you. Unfortunately, it's unlikely that you'll buy that car successfully because you need 49,000. Remember, your 35,000, you need to budget for it, your rent, your food, etc., etc. And what is left over is what you're using to buy your German machine. That's a straight answer. But at Mwalimu Biashara, we don't leave you there. We give you the reality, then we give you the way forward. Number 1, Walter, please increase your income. Please increase your income. Kennon, how do I increase my income in this economy? Now, there are actually ways in which you can increase your income, even if not immediately. We can give you a plan. How actually do I, what do I do? And the safest and easiest things, I saw it in question number 4 as well, is just start a side hustle. What more can you do? You're earning 35K. What more can you do? Your time is extremely important for you. How can you use your time and your expertise and your opportunities to be able to earn a little bit more? There's another angle to that. Making more money calls for a combination of very many things. You need to understand it from a finance perspective, which is what I'm doing here now. You need to understand how to run a side hustle because, again, the rate of failure for side hustles is very high. I think the last I checked, maybe 6 or 7 of every 10 fail. So you don't want to start something that fails. Then the last thing about a side hustle, your ability to bring in money, revenue. Whatever you do, you must be able to sell. Now, I think I'll digress here and tell you we give solutions to these things that work. Now, on 6th of December, that's a Saturday, we have something called the Side Hustle Breakfast. And I think we've been talking about it over and over again in our Kibeti community. So this is not news, but we've now pinned a date. We'll be having experts come to tell us about this side hustle. If Walter wants to increase his income, how does it exactly work? How do I get it right? So Edward is going to put a link at the end of this webinar. If that interests you, it will cost you 1,500 shillings. And that cost includes your breakfast. If it interests you, please register on that link. Even if you don't have the money, just register and say, I'm interested in this. We can always help you make it happen. And that is one of the solutions we have. We'll be talking about that at the end. Edward will put that link later in the chat. What other options does Walter have? Walter has an option of buying a cheaper machine. Okay, now, why am I puncturing Walter's dream? No. I'm not puncturing Walter's dream. Sometimes it's important to actually work realistically. What if Walter decides, okay, fine, I love this German machine. Let me go step by step. If I'm 30, let me start with a smaller car, build up my muscle, and then get into this German machine. Okay, so instead of spending 3.5, what if I'm able to spend 1.2 million shillings? Exact numbers. Let's see if Walter works. If I buy a machine worth 1.2 instead of buying a machine worth 3.5, for now, we are not stopping you from buying the German machine. But let's see if this is more realistic. So it means I will now need to put aside 17,000 shillings every month instead of 43. That's another advice for you, Walter. And even for us, most of the investments is a step-by-step fashion. You may want to live a certain place. You may want to achieve certain things. But sometimes it's actually most times it's a step-by-step fashion. So Walter, the other thing you could do is have your dream in stages. Okay. The other thing Walter could do is give himself a little bit more time. Instead of 5 years, maybe give yourself 8 years so that you have enough time to achieve. Oh God, 8 years, Kennon, who will wait? Now, let me tell you something about personal finance and investments. It's a game of time. It's a game of time. If you're able to do it faster, please do it. But most times you find you need to put in the idea of time somewhere. I'm also checking my time to see my time is not running, but out of curiosity, let's see what happens to Victor. Stay with your 3.5, but this time give yourself 8 years. Remember, the other figure was about, I think, 43,000. Let us see. The other adjustment Walter can make is give yourself more time. All right. And there it goes now. Walter can still drive his German machine for 27,000 shillings a month. Look at how things are changing. That is the power that you get when you have tools that can help you make your decision. Mr. Walter, I'm hoping that that gives you the answers right there. We are happy to engage a little bit more. Again, my eyes on the chat. I don't see another question coming in. I want to encourage you guys. Any sort of question you have, put it out there. You're asking Kennon anything, right? No strings attached, just talking to people today about money. Question number 3 came from Kemunto. Kemunto is telling us, I honestly dread the festive season. My parents want me to take a loan on their behalf because, and I quote, I have a good payslip, end of quote, so that they can build a 5-bedroom house, which in my simple estimate will cost around 27 million. I can start seeing why Kemunto is in the picture thinking, how now? She continues, deep down, I know this will heavily affect my finances, but I keep getting guilt tripped when I hesitate. Question, should I say yes out of respect or protect my financial peace? Ha, very familiar. It's almost familiar to Austin's questions about traveling up country, but this is a situation where you're dealing with what is commonly called black tax. Commonly, people call it black tax. And black tax basically is the expectation everybody puts on you or on me because you're perceived to be more successful than them, number one. And number two, they feel they have a right to your money because at one point they supported you through your process to even get this good payslip you're talking about, Kemunto. In simple terms, it's expectations from family and friends, especially family and friends, because they feel they contributed to your success. So it's your time to pay back. I read some research. Some of the reasons it's called black tax is because it happens a lot in Africa. That's why people gave it that term black tax. And the reason it's called a tax is sometimes you can't run away from it. And I can see Kemunto struggle here. Okay. So a couple of things here. There is nothing wrong with helping your parents. In fact, it's a good thing. Depending on your faith, it's actually godly. It's actually godly. It's encouraged for you to do it. So it is very good to even take care of them. The thing is, you need to have a very delicate balance. And the first delicate balance comes from budgeting. It is important for you to have an honest view about your money, what you can do, what you cannot do. That's why when you say into quotes, I have a good payslip, what is good? When you say good, how big is good? So you need to establish that. All right. Having established that, then you also ask yourself, I can probably afford 3,000 a month or 7,000 or 20,000, whatever the number comes out. The other thing that's very important is how do you communicate this? How do you package your message to the people you're talking to? Remember, these are very sensitive relationships. You can't wake up one morning and decide, I will not talk to my mother. Afanye venye nataka. It doesn't work like that. These are very sensitive relationships. So even how you put it across is extremely important for the success of what you're facing here, Kemunto. So please manage expectations. Some people ask me, what if in this case, it's my parents or my uncle or my high school teacher or whatever it is it's come. They even have an idea how much I earn. So even if I tell them I can only afford 3,000 shillings, they don't believe me. Of course, if you can, first of all, these are some of the confidential information you keep for yourself. Let that be your personal secret. So that's when you say it's 3,000, when someone says 3,000 out of 300K, watch mchezo Kemunto. Or it's 3K out of 20K, then listen. So, but either way, keep that information away from people. If the figure that comes out of your budgeting is 3,000, please go home or call them or whatever, buy them tea, whatever it is, and express it gently, sensitively, but very firmly. Be very firm. Not rude, not cocky, not arrogant, but firm. Firm means this is a decision I have already made, and this is how I find it best to work. And let people understand where you're coming from. Some of the tips I've seen clients use is introduce something called relativity and say, I have a project that I'm running that is taking a lot of my money, and I cannot afford that right now. So you're creating that house you want to build. Even me, I have a project. It's about messaging. It's about managing expectations. Another method I think I had the other day is take the responsibility back to them. Say, actually, your project yangu, there's a place I'm stuck, and I was thinking if we can sell that cow at home so that it can help me also. Now, when you do that, you're taking the responsibility back to them. Instead say, hey, tuuze ng'ombe. Hapana, hapana. Let's just say like that. Next time they see you calling, they are thinking it's the cow that you're looking for. It is all these are tactics you can use. But am I saying we lie to our parents? No. But I'm saying create what we call relativity. It makes your messaging clear. In your question here, 27 million, I have no problem with anybody living wherever they want to live, but that's a tall order. Your payslip must be extremely good to even think that you can dent this responsibility of building a 5-bedroom house. So again, it also depends on how big the issue is. Deep down, you feel heavily, it will affect your finances, but you keep getting guilt tripped. Guilt tripping, you change that by how you communicate. What I've just said, I'm not refusing. It is what it is. Sometimes comes to tulikusomesha. Now it's your turn to educate your sister. So again, in all fairness, if you can, please do it. But if you cannot, it is not your responsibility to educate your siblings. It is the parents' responsibility, but you can help. It is your responsibility to educate your children. And I sound very un-African, isn't it? But you're not saying it as harshly and almost recklessly as I'm saying, but you need to get the reckless message out first. Then find a way of packaging this reckless message in a way that it will understand. So the answer is, should you say yes out of respect or protect my financial peace? The answer is both. But you create the boundaries, Kemunto. You decide it is 3,000. Further on to this subject, you'll get tested. So you say 3,000. You even send the 3,000. But somewhere on 20th, they ask for another 5. When I say they, by the way, it's not necessarily parents. It's anybody else in your face. They now ask for 5. What do? The ability to say no. The ability to always explain. Say, right now, hatujalipwa, we've not yet been paid. So I may not be able to raise that kind of money. But immediately we are paid. That 3,000 I talked about, I will definitely send it. You're taking the discussion back to you being in control, respectfully, but firmly. I hope, Kemunto, that answers your question right there in terms of how do you deal with this issue. Number 4, and I see we probably have about 10 more minutes. So if I suspect if there's any question, this is the best time to bring it. If not, then we probably might need to answer it next time. Number 4, how do I build a side hustle that can sustain me outside a busy career life? I think these I've already handled. It's hard to put it in a sentence, but always remember you need the time. One thing most people forget is these side hustles need your time. So you need to balance off the kind of work you're doing wherever you're doing. You must be able to find time to have it run successfully. People tell me, but I can always hire people. That's okay, but you need to give it time, even time to think, even time to be alive in the business. Interrogate what you're being told. Today we had a problem, and maybe you're running a small cafeteria somewhere, you're cooking fish and chips, something. Let's assume that's a side hustle. Then someone tells you, today Kanjo had a problem and they took our potatoes, and the potato, half of the sack got lost. If you don't have time for your side hustle, this information will just be consuming it without thinking. You say, okay, fine. Are you sure? Yes, you move on. But you have time to think about side hustle. You ask, wait a minute. If Kanjo is a problem, how do you end up losing half a gunia because of Kanjo? you start asking deeper questions because you have time. Okay, so one thing to build a side hustle is time. Of course, the other thing is where do ideas come from? We've tackled this many times in our webinars. And I think the best thing to this question is not a lot of money. 1,500, the link is there. Please, let's meet on 6 and we'll help you completely run your side hustle successfully. In fact, we are calling it build your business in a day. By the time you leave that meeting, you'll have a very clear idea of this is the business I want to run. This is the name I want to give it. These are my customers. This is my value proposition. This is how I'm going to sell. You can tell that is a lot of value that's going to come your way. Number 5, is it better to focus on multiple side hustles or strengthen one solid income stream? Because I already run a biashara that takes most of my time. Here it goes, the timer come again. From Monday to Saturday and sometimes even Sunday, am I stretching myself too thin or diversifying wisely? From this question, I think you're already spreading yourself too thin. And this is why I say that. The moment you're working from Monday to Saturday, even Sunday, your time has been taken up. So trying to run another one, most probably you're setting yourself up for failure. I don't think that is diversifying wisely because a human being can only do so much. Now, I know there is a whole issue about scaling. There's an issue about working smarter. I understand. But especially side hustles, you need to invest a lot of time in it. Even money. They don't just wake up and work. There's a lot that goes to it. And that part you're asking, is it better to focus on multiple or strengthen one? I would go with strengthening one. Why? First, you're calling it a side hustle. That means you already have your main hustle. Okay, this is something you want to do on the side. The moment there are more than 1 or 2 or 3, let's face it, we are not super people. Something will break. But you can perfect one. Once it's up and running and you've gotten the ropes, you can consider another one. But even the better way to do it, let's say you've gone into hair care. You want to take salon and taking care of people's hair, etc., etc. You put in a lot of energy, research, machinery, nini, to understand the whole salon business. You're better off opening another salon elsewhere because you already have the experience, as opposed to saying, now salon has worked, let me go to fish farming. Are you seeing? You're splitting yourself so thin. So the best thing is to, once you've understood the rules and trade of one thing, diversify on that same thing. It's better that way, as it were, right there. I think that's about it. I see what time is up. I believe all those questions have been tackled. We meet again next Wednesday for the Ask Kennon Anything. But before we go, I want to give you a gift. Now that you've stayed in this webinar end to end and you've invested your time, I will share with you a gift just now. But for now, let me tell you who I am. My name is Kennon Mbae. I'm the co-founder of a company called Mwalimu Biashara. As Edward put it, our mandate is to help people make more money, grow their money, protect their money. I'm a qualified finance person. I've done my MBA, my BCom. I've done my accounting qualifications. It's called ACCA, and I'm also a certified information systems auditor, having worked for over 20 years in very many industries. And right now, my focus is on being a business mentor, being an angel investor, helping people in personal finance like I'm doing now, youth mentorship, and I also enjoy music and sports. This slide is here because we take finance seriously. Every time I put up this slide, it is to have you understand and really appreciate we take this seriously and we want to give you the best of this. This is my gift to you. We have 2 upcoming events. I think I've already alluded to them. First is something we call the Kibeti Money Moves Breakfast. Now, the way this works is actually this Saturday. And if you can't come, you can always pay for a recording. It's only 600 shillings to get a recorded version, 1,000 shillings to attend in person. Why do you want to attend this? We have figured out personal finance is affected by very many things in our environment. I'll give you an example right now. Safaricom is giving a corporate bond. They've gotten the approval to raise, I think it's 40 billion shillings from the public. What is a corporate bond? Can it help me? How much can I make? Do they work? That's what you want to discuss on Saturday. But we're not discussing it out of the blue because it has happened. I think it's almost in the course of November. So the Kibeti Money Moves Breakfast is a time when we look at what has happened and what exactly does it do to your money. The Right Honorable Raila Odinga passed on. It's a political issue, but imagine it affects your personal finances. On Saturday, we are saying, what adjustments should you start making in your personal finances? The other day, I saw the taxman, the same month of November, the taxman has said that if you run a side hustle or you run rental income, you need to register for taxes. What does that mean to you? What does it do to you? The Kibeti Money Moves Breakfast is a monthly meetup where we talk about personal finance. In fact, something else came. I saw that I didn't know this, but in the you say 29th of December, Abbas, correct. 29th of December, this Saturday, 29th of November, I'm sorry. 29th of November, I'm sorry, Abbas. I might have said December. It's 29th of November, Kesho Kutwa. Kesho Kutwa. Edward is going to put that link on the chat. That link Edward is going to put, as I said, just say you're interested. Okay. That is what the Kibeti Money Moves Breakfast is. It will be happening every month, every month. So this is our first one. Please come and support us. If you can't make it, just because you're going to record it very nicely, not a Zoom recording like this, but a whole studio recording. Nice thing that you can watch and get a lot of value later on. It will be only 600 shillings. My gift to you today is that we give you a 10% discount on anything that you take here. So that link Edward is put on the chat. Just put your name, put your email address, and tick what you're interested in. Is it the Kibeti Money Moves, or is it the other one I'm talking about, the side hustle breakfast, where you're saying the next Saturday they are following each other. December you're gonna mambo. The next Saturday now we are helping you run your side hustle. Are you ready to unlock cash? How do you start right? How do you avoid costly mistakes? How do you create a clear strategy? What is the secret of turning your passion into profits? On 6th of December, again, we are meeting, it's 1,500. Same place, we are meeting at CMS Africa. It is on Chani Avenue, just behind the Aya Center. We'll send you a pin. Just put your name in that link. We'll help you get there. Our gift to you is a straight 10% discount. But please make sure you register your name on that link that Edward has put on the chat. Ladies and gentlemen, that's it from me. I think I will stop right there. We'll take any other questions that come. I don't think I've seen anything in the chat section. Let me see. That was a question by Abbas. It was 29th November. Again, the link is there. All we're asking you to do, click on it, write your name. I know some of us in this meeting have already paid for it. Asanteni sana. No problem. Put your name in that link and I'll give you back your 10%. Whatever you've paid, I will give you back your 10%. Please let us know where to send your money. We'll send it to you because it is a gift we want to give you for your time today. I'll take it back to Edward to close for us. But meanwhile, we are part of the wealth management team in a company called Sandbox. Now, Sandbox is still in that place we'll be having our meetings. It is a group of experts. I am the wealth expert at Sandbox. We have many experts. We have the IT expert, marketing, name it, accounting and law and strategy, apps, everything. It's at the Sandbox. You get to get very good experts there at a very pocket friendly price. If that interests you, again, speak to us. We'll be able to point you to solutions that last. Asante sana, ladies and gentlemen. I've been your host, Kennon Mbae. Back to you, Edward. Good evening.
Wow. Thank you so much, Kennon, for that amazing, for the amazing answers that you are giving unto us. And I honestly do hope that the Walters and the Kemuntos will be able to get their responses. Walter actually texted me while you were giving the responses. He wasn't able to log in, but I just reminded him that we have the recording. So he will be able to get the recording as to everyone else. If you we had no questions from the audience, which is quite surprising. I think the audience have their finances figured out, and that is quite amazing. Asanteni sana. I'd like to pass my thanks to individually. But before that, Solo has a question. Solo is asking, I was interested in the virtual link, so do I get a discount? I was interested in the virtual link, so do I get a discount? So
I
maybe
think
to
the answer is
answer,
yes. I think
Okay.
the answer is yes. So, no, if that interests, when you say the virtual link, are you talking about the recording? If that's the case, yes, you're still going to get a discount to give you 10% of 600 shillings. We want to keep our word. So, all you need to do is please ensure that you've put your name on this link. Then that way we know that you're, and even you go there, just tick it for us solo and we'll be able to extend the discount to you. Thank you.
Great. Wow, thank you, Kennon, for that offer and also for each and every person who's attended. Kindly take advantage of that 10% discount. It is for you specifically who's been able to join us because these are the nuggets that we give to you. So thank you so much, Abus. Thank you, Christine. Thank you, James G. Thank you, Joanne Kailiti. Thank you, Sami Tirop. Thank you, Solo. Thank you, Tina. Thank you, Winslet Paula. And I'd like to normally close with a quote, as always, because we are Africans and it's an African way. And the quote for the week from my end, the one that I've been thinking about this week, it's a familiar quote that you all know. And the quote goes like this: If you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together. I'll repeat: if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together. And that is one of the key reasons why we opened the Kibeti community. Because as much as we'd like to go fast, we want to go fast and we want to go far together. Because when we are all equipped with the right financial knowledge and we all get the right financial behaviors, then there's nothing that is going to stop us from attaining wealth. I've been a financial trainer for the night, Paul Edward Mwangi, and it's super exciting and amazing to see you all for today. Hopefully, we will get to see you on Saturday. It's the day after tomorrow. So it's Saturday. Kindly feel free to link up with us. It would be good to see each and every one of you in person so that you can also engage and enjoy a nice cup of coffee with what you're going to be offering, and it's going to be an exciting time. Kujeni, let's learn together so that we may grow together. Santeni sana, I'll be the last one to leave. Enjoy the rest of your night. Take care of yourselves and see you on Saturday. And for more information, let's talk in our Kibeti community. Asanteni, God bless.